Now to figure out which of these it's going to be, you're going to use the ratio test. It is the first one. Okay. But let's see, for this problem, A sub n is right here, and we're going to use the ratio test. So I have to form this ratio, A sub n plus 1 over A sub n. I'll do the absolute value of it, and that's going to be n plus 1 factorial. I'm going to write it like, well, I'm just going to write it the way it is then. N plus 1 factorial times x to the n plus 1. I'm so used to seeing fractions, I'm wanting to force myself to write this as a fraction. But I'll just write this on the side. A sub n plus 1 is n plus 1 factorial times x to the n plus 1. And then a sub n is right here, divided by n factorial times x to the n. So reduce this. Now, n plus 1 factorial over n factorial, what does that equal? That equals n plus 1. And what about x to the n plus 1 over x to the n? It is x. This is the absolute value of n plus 1 times x. By the ratio test, we'll do the limit as n approaches infinity of this ratio of the absolute value of a sub n plus 1 over a sub n, and that's going to be the limit as n approaches infinity of the absolute value of n plus 1 times x. I was thinking I could delete the absolute value, but you know what? I cannot delete the absolute value. I've got to keep them in this case. I don't know what x is. I don't know if x is positive or negative or whatever. But what is this? What is this limit? This is infinity. According to the ratio test, we're on number 2 of the ratio test, if the limit is some number bigger than L, or if the limit is infinity, then what happens with this series? It diverges. Well, if x is 0, this converges. The number it's centered around. But, so by the ratio test, since I got infinity, by the ratio test, this series diverges for all x except x equals 0. The number it's centered around, that you know it's going to converge because everything's going to be 0, and that's 0. But anything else, that's what we're trying to figure out here. So where does this converge? It converges only when x equals 0. Yes, Mr. Shashika.